You know a video is about to go off the rails when someone says everything you know about health is a lie, and then compares a banana to a Snickers bar. You heard that right. So today we're going to break down what's actually true, what is being wildly oversimplified, and why social media wellness advice specifically keeps turning completely normal foods into villains, and why. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin Bees. I'm an ACE certified personal trainer and a fitness nutrition specialist. And around here, we break down MLMs, wellness nonsense, nutrition misinformation, and manipulative marketing using actual evidence with a side of common sense. And today, well, this video is going to start with a couple partially true statements and then immediately drives straight into Facebook wellness territory. That's the official term. We are back with another Cheryl Pike video, and why? Well, you'll see why here shortly. Buckle up, brace yourselves, and let's get into it.
Hey everyone, how are you? It's Cheryl coming to you from New Brunswick, Canada. If you are catching me live, type a number 1. If you're catching me on the replay, type a number 2. And if you're brand new to me and my broadcast and all the fun we have, I am so happy you're here. Type the word new in the comments below. I am a network marketing professional making a full-time income from my phone, promoting a product and a business that changed my life. And I came across some information today that I just had to share. I was going to come on this live and talk about eating frogs and all of that stuff because we started book club last night, and we're reading Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, and it's such a good book. If you procrastinate with doing things, if you put stuff off, if you wait till tomorrow to do the things that you should do today, you need to read Eat That Frog. So good. I have so much work to do in order to get ready for next week's book club, but it's just, like I said, if you have ever put something off or procrastinated or not finished something, get that book.
Have you guys ever noticed that these people in multi-level marketing will often recycle books that were trending in the MLM space, if you will, years ago? Because I don't know when that book was written, but I remember, I want to say 2015-ish, reading that book. And I just feel like it's a cyclic kind of thing when it comes to these books or the speakers, or I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you guys have noticed that. And I know that there's a lot of people in my audience that have been a part of MLM. Was this a book that you were suggested to read when you were a part of whatever company you were a part of? I would also love to know that because it's just coming back around, you know?
Read that book, do the exercises. So good. Anyway, pardon me. I do have some notes here because I just came across this information and I knew that I had to get on here and tell y'all what a big fat lie I read about today. So let me know where you're watching from. Let me know how you found me. Was it a real?
Oh my God. By the way, this is titled, Why Everything You Know About Health is a Lie. Yeah.
Was it a live? Was it Facebook? Was it TikTok? Was it Instagram? I would love to know. I would love to know. So, here's why almost everything you were told about health is a lie. The sun isn't dangerous.
We're going to stop there for just a second because when we come across something like this with a title, as she just read, or not read, but just said, it should be a red flag. It should be a red flag. It should be an immediate reminder, in my opinion, to turn on an extra layer of protection, if you will, critical thinking, Because, yeah, I know you guys get it. Nutrition science changes over time as we learn more. That is absolutely normal, and that's how science works. But that does not mean that there's some giant conspiracy because somebody on Facebook discovered pink salt or whatever she's about to say here. And this is something that I feel like people, especially wellness influencers, do constantly. They take one tiny piece of truth and they wrap it in dramatic anti-science language because it sounds empowering and probably gets a lot more engagement than they're used to. Oh, let me also say, she just mentioned the sun isn't dangerous. Now, this is where nuance apparently leaves the building when it comes to Cheryl, because getting sunlight absolutely is good for you. Going outside can help with mood, sleep, circadian rhythm, and vitamin D production. That part is true. But saying that the sun isn't dangerous, like skin cancer doesn't exist anymore, is absurd. The answer isn't to never go outside, but it's also not UV damage is fake. The actual answer, as it is in most scenarios, depending on what we're talking about here, is moderation. And honestly, this is one of my biggest issues when I see content like this online, is because everything gets turned into extremes because that gets clicks. Ugh. Let's hear what she says about salt. Can't wait for that.
Isn't bad for you. Hi, Gayla. And fat doesn't make you fat. I could wrap it up right now. Those are the three
Maybe you should have.
things. Those are the three myths. In a world drowning in health advice, why does rejecting it work so well? Most modern health advice treats the symptoms while ignoring the environment and lifestyle that's causing them. The problem was never sunlight. The problem is staying indoors all day, artificial light at night, poor sleep, chronic stress, and ultra-processed foods. I added something to my daily routine.
She actually added multiple things according to her own Instagram. Why am I pointing this out? Because they like to say, well, let me actually just back up. Do I think that she's getting ready to go to Partner Co. that does skinny drops that Lindy has been talking about? Yes. Yes, I do. I think that she is trying to see what the interest is as far as her audience and her demographic and what they're interested in. But I do want to point out that she has changed multiple things according to her own Instagram. She has started taking these skinny drops, which, by the way, I hate it. I've done videos on it. Check out the playlist and the videos linked in the video description. And she's also started to take Primal Queen beef organ supplements. I've done a video on that. I'll make sure that I include that. It's also in my sketchy supplement series. So just know that when you hear stuff like this from people online, they're like, I changed one thing. Chances are they probably changed multiple things. Maybe they're not realizing it. For example, a lot of these people in multi-level marketing companies, when they're talking about, I lost weight and I only was taking this supplement, they probably were actually moving their body more than they were prior to starting the supplement, because subconsciously you naturally want to make changes to make sure that that supplement is working. In addition to that, they probably were eating less or changed how they were eating to make sure subconsciously that that supplement was doing the work. So just know that when you come across stuff like this. I can give you two other supplements that she's taking three supplements: Pruvit ketones, skinny drops, and also the beef organ supplements with zero scientific evidence that they do anything from Primal Queen. Again, see the videos linked in the video description.
On the 8th of this month, and I've been focused on real foods, less processed. More.
And there it is. There it is. That's one change that she's made. Chances are, if she's eating less processed foods, she's taking in less calories on a daily basis. And I think she has mentioned that she's lost like 7 pounds or 7 to 10 pounds. That is taking in my opinion, without seeing what she's eating on a daily basis, a significant amount of fewer calories, or a significant decrease in calories, I guess is how I want to say that, on a daily basis. So it's not that she just changed a couple things. The main thing is the change in eating, which in my opinion is probably getting her the results, more so than drinking Pruvit ketones and the skinny drops and the sketchy supplements, aka, well, all of them I think are sketchy supplements in my opinion, but Primal Queen.
So was in the past, I'm avoiding most dairy because dairy contains hormones and I'm trying to get my hormones balanced as well.
Cheryl, what hormones, which of your hormones are imbalanced? And how do they work? And how did you test to see if they were imbalanced? Did you see an endocrinologist? Did you have lab work done? What diagnostic testing did you have done to determine that your hormones are imbalanced? I would love to know.
A cow produces milk to feed her calf in order for that calf to grow. That milk has hormones. That affects me as a woman. So that's why I'm avoiding dairy, because it's not part of my routine right now where I'm trying to get things balanced, lined up, all of that stuff. So the problem was never sunlight. There is nothing better than going outside when the sun is shining and just spending 15 or 30 seconds just feeling it, letting that vitamin D absorb. I'm not saying to bake yourself all day long. I was out in the sun a little too long in Florida and I'm still peeling from that, and that was at the beginning of the month.
Why do they always contradict themselves? Now, here's the thing. It's the dose that could be the poison. And I think that's the overall theme here, or one of the many themes aside from nutrition information that I'm going to be correcting throughout this video. It's the dosage that's the poison. If the sun isn't dangerous, Cheryl, why would you suggest people not to be outside all day baking? If it's not dangerous, that shouldn't be a problem, right? And if you're new to my channel, that's me being sarcastic. It's the dosage that is the problem. If it's not dangerous, then how come you got sunburned from staying out a little bit too long and now you're peeling? They always contradict themselves. And also see my notes about sun and the benefits of daily sunlight from just a couple minutes ago.
Salt is not the enemy for most healthy people. Your body literally needs sodium for hydration, nerve signals, muscle function, and energy balance. The issue is processed food overload, not natural mineral salt itself. I don't have white salt in my house. I have Himalayan pink salt, and that's the only salt we use.
All right, well, here we go with the magical pink salt conversation. Now, to be fair, she is correct that sodium is important. Your body needs sodium for hydration. It does need sodium for muscle function and nerve signaling. That part is absolutely true. But saying salt isn't bad for you as a blanket statement ignores the fact that some people absolutely do need to monitor sodium depending on medical conditions. And pink Himalayan salt is not some mystical wellness substance. Yes, it contains trace minerals, trace being the important word here. The amounts are tiny. And meanwhile, iodized table salt actually exist for a reason. Iodine deficiency used to be a huge public health problem. People hear the word natural and immediately assume healthier, and nutrition is just way more nuanced than that.
White salt is so overprocessed, you don't know what's in it.
Now, the irony is not lost on me that somebody here that sells Pruvit ketones, a proprietary blend with large amounts of ketones, or excuse me, large amounts of sodium in them, is talking about how something is so processed that you don't know what is in it. We're going to get to that a little bit later. I just had to point that out real quick because I know you guys were thinking it too.
It's not healthy for you. It's not going to give you what you need. Stick to something that's less processed, more natural. Himalayan pink salt is perfect for your electrolyte balance, all of that stuff.
The really interesting part about this, or what I think is really funny about this part in particular, is the wellness space constantly talks about how processed salt is bad. And again, this is somebody that is drinking Pruvit's ketones and their electrolyte products that are packed with sodium. I just want to reiterate that. And in fact, let's go ahead and look at that label right now on Pruvit's ketones, just to prove a point. So if we're looking at one of their original flavors of ketones, the raspberry lemonade, this comes directly from the Pruvit website. This serving, one packet, has 910 milligrams of sodium in it. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying sodium is evil. That's not what I'm saying at all. A lot of ketone products and low carb products contain more sodium because low carb diets can affect hydration and electrolyte balance. That's not the issue here. The issue is the inconsistency that we're seeing from Cheryl. Regular table salt suddenly becomes toxic and processed, but sodium inside an MLM supplement magically becomes a wellness product. Notice how the rules always seem to change when there's a product where they're earning commission attached to it. And that's one of the easiest ways to spot wellness marketing when you come across it online on social media.
And it's great for headaches too. Do you ever feel a headache coming on? If you take a little bit of pink salt and just on your tongue, you can ward off your headache, because most times it's because you're dehydrated or your electrolyte levels are out of whack. Eating healthy fats does not automatically make you fat. Constant overeating, insulin dysregulation, liquid calories, and processed foods are the biggest drivers. Your hormones matter more than outdated fear-based nutrition advice. I remember going to bingo years ago with a girlfriend of mine.
She is notorious for sharing stories of other people. And I just wonder if this friend that she's getting ready to talk about, one, I wonder if they're still friends. Two, I wonder if this friend, if they are, knows that she's using this as an example of what not to do. How disgusting is that? With friends like that, who needs enemies? Am I right?
She was actually my son's first babysitter. We went to bingo and she ordered battered mushrooms and ranch dip and nacho chips and cheese and a Diet Coke. And I said,
let's see what you're eating, Cheryl. I'm just trying to see something. I'm just trying to see something. Now, are there better options? In my opinion, more nutrient-dense options that person could have ordered? Sure, but if you're going to come on here and judge, let's see what you're eating. Yeah, I would love to see that.
That kind of cancel out the Diet Coke. She said, I'm telling you this, if I'm going to have calories, I'm going to chew them. I thought, well, okay then. So liquid calories. All of those protein smoothies that you're putting together and stuff. If you put a banana in a smoothie, do you know there is just as much sugar in a banana as there is in a Snickers bar?
What just happened? What do you mean a banana has just as much sugar as a Snickers bar? Because no, it doesn't. What do you mean? Why is it that when we see stuff like this online and somebody reducing nutrition down to one number with absolutely zero context, people believe them? All right, let's talk. Let's talk about it. I had to get myself together. Yes, bananas contain sugar. Okay. Here's what they also contain: fiber, potassium, vitamins, water, carbs, aka sugar, that gives your body energy. A Snickers bar has added sugar, more calories, highly processed ingredients, and a completely different nutrition profile. These foods are not even remotely the same nutritionally just because they both contain sugar. Your body doesn't look at food and go, you know what? Yeah, sugar detected. Same thing. Fiber matters, fullness matters, nutrients matter, and obviously the context matters. That's like saying almonds and donuts are both the same because they both contain fat, or chicken breast and gummy bears are the same because they both contain calories. What is happening? And honestly, most people would benefit from eating more fruits and vegetables and not being scared of bananas because somebody online compared them to a Snickers bar. This is absurd. Also, where did she even see this? Notice that she didn't give a source. Notice that she has no credentials, because anybody that has nutrition credentials is not going to compare a banana and a Snickers bar like they're the same thing.
Did you know that?
Except it's not true. Thank you. Next topic.
A lot of mainstream health messaging gets simplified into extremes because fear spreads faster than nuance.
Okay. Also, I want to double back before we get into this fear-based marketing. I noticed that she had mentioned something about smoothies, and the thought of villainizing smoothies is so beyond absurd to me, because smoothies are not automatically bad because Cheryl read an article somewhere and they said it was bad because it's liquid calories. Sometimes liquid calories can be easier to consume, especially if somebody is busy, especially if somebody has something going on with their stomach. There's a whole host of reasons that a smoothie might be a better option for people, but they can be incredibly helpful depending on the person and what's in them. adding protein, adding fiber, adding healthy fats, that can definitely help with feeling full and adding balance into your life. And this is why black and white nutrition advice online is so frustrating, because it removes all the context.
Fat is bad. Sun is dangerous. Salt will kill you.
It's really wild to me. Sorry to pause it so soon. It's really wild to me that she is making this claim about fat being bad when she has consistently talked about low carb and keto dieting over the last few years. And her coming out with this is like, do you not realize the type of content that you've been putting out all these years? It's just so fascinating to me how they forget, or the process, how it happened, I guess, that she was like, I am reading this and now I absolutely have to tell the world about it. So I'm going to go live or attempt to tell the world about it. You know, I don't understand.
Simple narratives are easier to sell. I grew up in a generation that low fat this, low fat that. If it said low fat, it was better for you. Have margarine instead of butter because it's not so hard on your heart. I'm sorry, I don't want to spread a tub of chemicals on my bread anymore.
Say it with me. Everything is a chemical. We'll get into that shortly, but why am I laughing at this point? Because this is somebody that drinks a proprietary blend ketone product from Pruvit, and she's like, I'm not going to have margarine. That's a chemical. Everything is a chemical. Oh my God.
And there's also comparisons out there. Wonder Bread. Wonder Bread when I was a kid had 5 ingredients. Wonder Bread now, the list is this long, and half of the stuff, or more than half, you can't even pronounce.
Can you pronounce everything on the Pruvit products, Cheryl?
The healthiest people usually do boring things consistently.
I mean, I agree with her there, but I don't think it necessarily, again, there needs to be some context. I think consistency is very, very important. I think prioritizing sleep is important, weight training important, you know, moving your body to the best of your ability is important, managing your mood and nutrition and all of those things. Those are all very important things, and they're not always the most exciting things, but they are the things that if you're willing to do them consistently to achieve whatever your goal is with those things, you're going to be healthier. I do agree with that part, but anyways.
They sleep properly. They walk daily. They
Not everybody can walk. Not everybody has that ability.
get sunlight. They manage their stress. They eat mostly real food.
What is this real food thing? She's saying it, Kelsey Ray is saying it. I think that what they're trying to say is whole foods, but this real versus fake food is quite fascinating to me.
They move their body often. There's no magic hack. Questioning.
There's no magic hack. Meanwhile, selling magic hacks. Got it. Got it. A plus, Cheryl. That's sarcasm, by the way, everybody.
Bad health advice is not anti-science. You're not going against your doctor to question things. Blindly repeating outdated advice without thinking is, well, my mom told me, so it has to be true. Well, my grandma did that, so that's what happened.
We could say the very same thing with Cheryl here. Well, Cheryl said that I shouldn't be having margarine and I should eat real butter. Or Cheryl said that I should be doing intermittent fasting and drinking ketones and breaking my fast with Pruvit's ketones. Credentials matter. Context matters. There's also nuance, especially when we're talking about nutrition.
Your body responds to biology, not headlines. So just remember that the sun is not your enemy. Salt is not bad for you. Opt for the pink Himalayan salt, and don't grab the shaker before you taste your food. That was a big thing.
Let's stop here for just a moment, because I want to double back to the whole fat doesn't make you fat. This is another one where there's a tiny bit of truth that's getting stretched into oversimplified wellness advice. Your body absolutely needs dietary fat. It does help. Fat specifically helps with hormones, nutrient absorption, cell function, and feeling full. But social media has taken fats are bad to fat doesn't matter at all. Actually, I think it's the reverse of that, but neither of those extremes is accurate. Body composition is influenced by so many things. overall calorie intake, activity, sleep, stress, eating habits, hormones, and genetics. Nutrition is way more nuanced than these internet articles that Cheryl is coming across. And it's like, I'm going to come online, I'm going to tell you guys some truths. She's telling you little tiny truths and then spreading them to the misinformation area of the wellness internet, if you will. And as far as the margarine thing, I know I've already kind of mentioned it, but everything is chemicals. Water is chemicals. Apples are chemicals. Avocados are chemicals. The word chemical means absolutely nothing by itself. It's one of those buzzwords that we see online designed to sound scary without actually explaining anything. One of the biggest red flags that I have seen online is when somebody turns nutrition into heroes and villains. Sugar is evil, fruit is bad, salt is toxic, seed oils are poison, chemicals are scary. That black and white thinking is usually where misinformation starts. And notice how this video that we have watched, we haven't watched all of it, but what we have watched, it's going to turn into an inflammation pitch and a product conversation, because of course it is, right? That's usually where these videos end up. They're going to talk about, they're going to fear monger essentially. And then they're going to say, and this is how you can do it. I have just the product, or here's the meal plan, or here's how you can do that. Here's the supplement, blah, blah, blah. They always have the solution, right? And it's never the solution. It's just a product that is associated with what they are saying, or attempting to present it like it is the solution, but it's really just a sales pitch that's laced with fear-mongering misinformation.
It's a big thing when Mr. P and I got together, because he was the one that would grab that salt shaker and just on his food. Salt and pepper on his food. And I said, you haven't even tasted it yet. Well, I know that but you haven't even tasted it yet. Salt and pepper should be an accent or seasoning for something that you want to add a little bit of flavor to. If your food already has flavor, why are you reaching for the salt shaker? I was in Mexico.
Because that's none of your business.
2 years ago? 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, October 2023. I was in Mexico and my roommate was from Ohio. The food in Mexico is so flavorful, you don't need to add salt. They actually don't put salt and pepper on the table. Well, pepper maybe, but salt they don't put on the table because it's not needed.
They don't put salt and pepper on the tables in Mexico? Anybody want to confirm that in the comments? This is so weird.
She had the room service people bring her salt with every meal, and she requested it every time we went to the buffet, and she put it on every single thing she ate.
Again, with friends like this, who needs enemies? Yikes.
Every single thing. But it was to the point where they didn't even have shakers. They would bring her a little dish with salt in it, and she would just, like she was sprinkling a cupcake, the salt all over. And I thought, why? You haven't even tasted your food yet.
Now, here is a wild thought. What if that person has POTS? What if there's a medical condition that requires them to get more salt into their diet? Just a thought. I'm not saying that that's the case, but again, where's the nuance here? Oh no, she just wants to use it as a story to judge people to try and get them to buy her product. Got it. I hate it.
So salt is not bad for you.
Salt is not bad for you, but I'm going to shame everybody that is using salt, including her own husband and her roommate from Mexico. Oh, but it's not bad. While also drinking 800, 900 milligrams of sodium in Pruvit's ketones in every packet. I would consider that overconsumption. If you're drinking two or three of those a day, that's 2,400 milligrams for 3 packets a day. They drink more than they tell you guys online, FYI. In case you didn't know that, they are drinking much more than 2 packets a day as they were coached in 2017, 2018. I should say we were coached in 2018. They are drinking far more sodium than what they are showing you online, especially if they are still doing keto reboots where they are fasting for 60 hours. They are probably drinking 4 and 5 packets of ketones a day just to get through their day. I guarantee it. How do I know that? Because we did. And if you are somebody that's ever done the keto reboot and you can remember, let me know how many packets of ketones you were drinking to get through that keto reboot. Let us know in the comments.
Use of anything can be bad for you, but just instead of reaching for that salt shaker out of habit, because that's what you've always done, taste your food first. You may be surprised. You might like it without salt. I don't know, call me crazy. But that's it for me, you guys. I came across this information. I thought, you know what? I have to share this because how many of us are afraid to go outside because the sun is shining? How many of us are opting for low fat because fat makes us fat? And how many of us are following something low sodium in our diet? I'm not talking about processed food. Processed food, canned food is loaded with sodium. But how many of us are opting for low sodium diets because somebody told us that it was bad for us?
Well, the people that their doctor has told them to modify their diet and to decrease the amount of sodium that they're taking should listen to their doctor. Because for those people, sodium could be bad for them, large amounts of sodium. And everybody is going to be a little bit different as far as what the amount of sodium that they're sensitive to. That's, yeah, anyways.
So do your own research, look into things, and enjoy the sunshine. Have some pink salt, you guys. Do all of those things. And you know what? If you want to have a little fat, put a little avocado on your sourdough bread, go right ahead. Actually, cut up a bell pepper. If you like guacamole, avocado, I have grown to like it. Took me a long time. Cut up a bell pepper, put your avocado or your guacamole on top, a little bit of bacon, nice and crispy, on top of that with some bagel seasoning. I'm telling you, you will want that for lunch every single day. If you
What do you mean for lunch? What do you mean? A bell pepper is very low calorie, and avocado, depending on how much we're talking about, turned into guacamole. So it's probably got salt and onion pepper, garlic powder, onion pepper, what? Onion powder, hello, garlic powder, maybe some onions. Some people put tomatoes or, diced tomatoes or something in their guacamole. Everybody makes it a little bit different. This is, I would not consider that a lunch. I would consider that a snack, which also leads to my suspicion that I think that how do I want to word this? I've often wondered, let me say it this way, if she is consistently under eating until her body is like, we need food and we need it now, and then will overeat because she is underfueling. That's just my opinion. I'm not stating that as a fact. But if we're considering something like that to be a lunch, it just makes me wonder, what does the rest of her eating look like throughout the day? If she were a client of mine, I would want to see that. I would want to see like a 3-day tracker and see what she's eating. And my suspicions are that she's probably consistently under eating. But will we ever know? Probably not. I mean, sure, I could, I guess, go look at her stories and find out, but those are my thoughts.
watch my stories, that is my lunch every single day almost.
There we go.
So that's it for me. I hope you found some value with this. I know that this hit me and I thought, you know what, I have to share it. If you did find value, share this out with someone who is telling you to stay out of the sun, not eat salt, and stay away from the fat. Share it with them. You know, just do that. And I will see you guys tomorrow. If you want to know what has helped me target my inflammation.
And here's the product plug. Here we go.
Lose 10 pounds in 19 and a half inches, comment inflammation.
10 pounds in how long? Now, keep in mind, she said at the beginning of this, she was cutting out processed food. Processed food, a lot of times, have a higher calorie content than whole foods. So she cut that out, which means that she's eating less calories, and she lost 10 pounds. Over how long? We don't know. We don't know. She doesn't say that. 10 pounds, 19 inches from where? Context is always important in all of this.
We'll have a conversation because I feel so darn good, you guys. So darn good. And the more I go with this thing that I added to my daily routine, the
skinny drops, that's what she's talking about. But she's also taking, as I referenced earlier, she's also taking, according to her reel, I don't remember what day she posted it, she's taking Primal Queen supplements, she's drinking Pruvit ketones. So, you know, it's not just one thing, Cheryl. At least be honest about it.
more I'm learning, the more I'm loving what I'm learning. I will see you guys tomorrow.
Oh, God. Thanks. I hate it. Listen, you do not need to fear bananas. You don't need to fear sunscreen or table salt in order to improve your health. Most people would benefit way more from eating more protein and fiber, moving their body consistently to the best of their ability, sleeping enough, managing stress, eating balanced meals, and building sustainable habits, rather than obsessing over whether a banana has more sugar or less sugar than a Snickers bar. And honestly, this is why I always encourage people to slow down when it comes to content like what Cheryl put up here. Dare I even call it content? A lot of it mixes common sense advice with oversimplified nutrition claims designed to make influencers sound like they have the answer, while also selling a product at the end of it, like we just saw. Anyways, you guys, let me know your thoughts on this below, because I already know this comment section is probably going to be a lot like my last video where I was talking about the psych nurse that is selling Nueva supplements. The comment section is going to be very interesting. If you loved the breakdown today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with somebody who thinks that bananas are basically Snickers bars now, because Cheryl wanted people to share her video. So share mine out with actual evidence-based nutrition. Anyways, thanks for being here. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.